Hey guys, so normally this week I would be in Lexington, Kentucky with Johnny and my Mustangs doing the demos and competing what we were working for, the 5-star, but thanks to COVID, that has been canceled and those dreams have been dashed. So we've just been working away here at our farm, making sure that we've been social distancing and staying home, but doesn't mean that my horses have just been sitting around. We used today kind of with Kentucky as inspiration to have a fun little kind of like a play show of my own, and I did the 5-star test that I would have ridden on Johnny with all of them. So it was really interesting. And I thought this 5-star test actually had some really good exercises for the horses. And so it was, again, really good practice. It was really good for me to kind of be in a ring because I haven't set up a ring and I only had buckets. So you guys won't get to see the letters. They're, in my head, but all the buckets are where they're supposed to be. It was actually pretty hard to decide, kind of like if it was a competition, who the winner was, in my opinion. I mean, I know how it rode and how it felt, and so I have my biases. So who do you guys think did the best test? Why don't you guys put it in the comments and let me know.
So here is Johnny, and again we are doing the 2018 FEI 5-star test B, and so I'm working my way down near the end of my ring, and I'm going to come in off my left lead, try to make sure I get straight. I tried to mow my center line as straight as I could, but you can see there's a little bend in it. We come and we halt at I. Puts in a fairly good halt, a little hollow, but pretty square. Trots off nicely. Now I'm going to prepare for a medium MXK across the diagonal. He's feeling really great coming through. Really pleased with how that felt. And then I prepare for the corner. And so now we have a half pass, which is F to X. So you really have to kind of come to that corner, and he gives me a pretty good feeling of wrapping around my leg, but then I have to make sure the haunches don't go too far. And then we have to do an 8-meter circle at X, between like X and B there. And then shoulder in to G, and then straighten, and then track left. So pretty intricate right there. Really have to make sure your horses are in between your leg and your outside rein. Now we do our extended trot. He lost a little bit of balance there. It's probably a little bit due to the terrain of the ground, but was able to hold it together. I'm pretty happy with the swing and the frame that I have with him. And now again I have another half pass. K to X. Pretty good bend. Nice little change there to the 8-meter circle. And now to the shoulder in on the center line. Make sure you want the hind feet on the center of that line and kind of waver just a little bit. Then we turn right for a walk transition. And now I'm going to go M to E in the extended walk. And I would like to take it a little bit further out with his neck, but again, this is Johnny, so I'm happy that he's walking. He's walking with a fairly decent march. Could be a little bit more swingy and like over the back. And then we turn and we go EFA in the medium walk. And so then you shorten up your reins, but you still have the marching walk. And then as we come to A, we will halt at A. So I'm going to come through the corner, keep him marching. I'm going to prepare for the halt, press him up to it. Actually did a very good job. Now back 5 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4.5, and then we have to go into a canter. So it gets a little stuck sometimes in the rein back, but decently obedient. Now K to S is medium, and then I have to come back to collected canter, and then a half 20 S to R. That half 20 was kind of shallow. And then I go across the diagonal, R to V with the flying change over the center line. That was the right to left. It was clean, but he gets a little worried about it and can get a little crooked, so he drifts. And now I do half pass from F to in between I, and then straighten, and then do a flying change, which he was a half a stride late there, which I should have known better and kind of keyed him up just a smidge. And now I do the half pass again to the right from M in between to L, and then flying change. And again, that's the right to left, which is weaker, supposed to be anyways. It was clean, but it was drifted pretty good. Now I do the extended down the long side, F to M, and then come back collected, and a 20-meter circle stretch at the canter. I would like to have him again take his nose out, down and out a little bit more, but he does it. He gives me like 3 strides near the end there. And then I pick him back up, and I should have compressed him a little bit more here to get the better canter. He's pretty relaxed, but then when I ask for the change, I'm a little late. So we want the hind leg and the front leg in conjunction together. The hind leg was a little late. Then we come down the center line and halt at L. Overall, I was really happy with the smoothness of it. Just a couple mistakes here and there, and it was a pretty fun test to ride. So next up is Riot Gear, and he has been competing at the intermediate level, so he hasn't moved up to advanced yet, but he's about ready to. He should be moving up this season to advanced. So we come into the center line, prepare for the halt. He likes to get a little bracy sometimes in the down transition, but pretty nice and straight. Track right. Now we do a medium trot, which this is one of the funnest things to ride on this horse. Feels like you're on a cloud. Across the diagonal. I'll make sure I get him in the corner. Now where he has his weaknesses is in his lateral suppleness. So it's hard for me to kind of get him to really bend through the rib cage there. You see the haunches kind of went a little wide, and then for our 8-meter circle went a little wide there, and now I have to make sure I get him on the outside rein for that shoulder in down the center line, which were a little wobbly. So on Johnny's test, that was a little bit smoother, a little bit kind of smoother through those transitions. And now the extended trot is over tracking pretty nicely. That was pretty nice. And now coming through the corner to work on for the half pass to the right. And he wants to just be a little stiff through the ribs. I kind of lose the bend there. Kind of drifts away on me. And then into the 8-meter circle. And then I have to make sure I have the right rein, but keep my legs wrapped around him to hold him. So those hind legs are on that center line. And then to the down transition. Kind of grab the bit for a second. I tried to push him up through the hind end to that, using my seat and my leg. And now we're doing the extended walk. You could overtrack a little bit more. And then we go against another short diagonal with the medium walk and changing the frame, keeping the walk as active. And now I'm going to go through the corner and prepare for a halt at A. Almost square, and I gave him a little bump. Yeah, I almost had it. Then we go for the back. 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 steps. That's supposed to be 5 steps back and then straight up into the canter. So it's a little tough for him, but it's all right. And then we do a medium canter to S, and then the half 20 meter collected, and now cross the diagonal, the short diagonal with the flying change. I got it, but it was late and a little crooked. It was like completely off of my line there. And now I'm going to prepare for the other half pass. Again, the lateral work and bending through the rib cage is still a little hard for him, that suppleness that I need. And then we straighten for the flying change. And now half pass to the right. And then work on getting him straight. I think that was clean. Might have been a smidge late. Hard to tell from this angle. It felt clean when I wrote it. And now I'll extend it down the long side and back. He does have fairly good transition here, but almost lost it in the corner. Can be a little hard with the invisible ring. Now we do our stretchy canter. Does that fairly decent. He could go a little bit lower down and out. I need to work on that. And now we go S to P, flying change of the center line. That was really late. Yep. But again, work in progress. He does have his changes, but it's really good practice to practice in the ring. And we come to our halt, which is fairly square. So it's lots of things to work on, but pretty good time with him. Now on to Sharpie. So Sharpie has competed at the prelim level. So he is 2 levels below what Johnny is competing at. Because it goes advanced, intermediate, prelim. And of course, when you're competing advanced, then you go to 5-star. So we come down the center line to our halt. Had 2 trot steps and a little crooked. It's all right. Now we're going to cross the diagonal to the medium trot, which is one of the weaker things for Sharpie. You saw with Riot before, that was one of his strongest, and this is a weaker movement here for Sharpie. But he always puts in a good try. Now I'm going to work on my half pass. And he gives me a pretty good bend there. I'm able to catch so the haunches don't swing too far. I almost went past the center line. And then my circle. Now I'm going to put the haunches on the center line. And then straighten. And now Sharpie's got to do the extended trot across diagonal. This is developing and getting better and better. He still has a ways to go, but it is getting there. It still gets a little rushed and a little quick, but I at least feel him coming over his back now, so that's progress. And now we do our half pass. What I love about Sharpie is his workmanlike. He is a pretty fun horse to ride because you can work on being pretty accurate. Gave me a decent enough half pass into my 8-meter circle, and then work on the didn't quite get my outside rein there for my hind legs to be on the center line for the shoulder in, and then walk transition. He did that really nicely. And then we are going to do our extended walk. Sharpie has a lovely walk. He's a little tight. I think he's just trying to really focus because, again, this is a test a lot for him from what he's been doing. Now, however, I do like to train my horses above the level they are competing. So he has all the ingredients. It's just getting them sharpened up. And so we're doing our medium walk. Keeping the march. Working to the halt at A. Decent enough square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A little crooked. And then into the canter. Had like 2 strut steps. I kind of tipped my shoulders forward too. I should have stayed back and that would have helped him out some. But not too bad for that movement. And then medium canter, and then half 20 meter on the collected. That was kind of like blah. Now flying change. The change was good. He just hollowed out a bit, but the change was accurate. I just have to make sure he stays supple over his back for them. And now half pass. But again, his horse tries so hard and he's very workmanlike. If he's already like this now, he's going to be fantastic in another year or two. Flying change. It was clean. It was just started to get a little late there, but it was clean. And now half pass right. I got to get a little bit more bend, wrap around my right leg. And straighten and flying change. Very nice and straight there. That felt really good. And then extended. He's still working on just the suppleness through his whole body. He tends to just be a little tight. And now we do our stretch. He actually does a pretty decent job of opening through his neck and lowering. And then collecting back up. And preparing for the last change over the center line. And again, I'm accurate with it, but he just hollows just a little bit. That's okay. That comes. Now down the center line. Nice and straight. And to our halt. I was super proud of Sharpie. He put in a great test. And now on to Lee. Lee has competed at the intermediate level, so he is a level below what Johnny has competed at. And he is a fairly new ride for me this year. So now we come down the center line. We're a little wiggly. He likes to push his haunches to the left sometimes. But I feel like he has been progressing pretty well. We're starting to really get to know each other. We go now for our medium trot. Really excited about this horse. I think he's going to be pretty special. And then transition back. And now I'm going to work on my half pass. I didn't quite position the shoulder. Sometimes he can feel like riding a noodle. But he's getting better and stronger. I was able to hold the haunches, but then he thought he was smart almost and almost put haunches in just because I tried to make sure I had the support there. And now shoulder in. He wants to get a little tweaked through his head. A little wobbly. It's a little bit of the noodles. And now extended. This is going to build and get stronger and stronger, but it's a good basis for him. It's not the biggest. It's no riot gear extended, but we'll get there. Now working on the half pass. And again, he can sometimes struggle in his lateral suppleness too, kind of bending around the ribs, but he gives a good fair effort. An 8-meter circle. Now preparing for the shoulder in, which I did not prepare him very well off that circle. So there was like no shoulder in there. I maybe got 2 steps. Down to the walk. which sometimes he likes to stop kind of abrupt, but I got to keep the hind leg engaged, keep it stepping under so they have the balance. And now into our extended walk. I just want him to relax over that top part of his neck and stretch out with it. I'm going to turn left for now the medium walk. That's a good overstep. He's very businesslike, and again, we are building our relationship, and he's getting used to the way that I ride him because he was developed from a different rider. And now coming into our halt. And then he just propped his leg. I should have had a little bit more impulsion coming into that. And then working on our back. It was a little stiff, a little rigid. And then he went into the trot a couple of steps for the canter. But again, those are the things that we are working on is promptness of my aids with him. And now we do flying change, which this has been one of his weaker things, but he did it off my aid, but it was late, but at least he performed the act. So we were moving in the right direction. And now we do another half pass. I really like this test. It kind of really works on the suppleness of the horses and change in direction. And as a rider, it really gets you on your aids as well. So here, I was a little late trying to get that change I'd asked, but he thought that was kind of a hard movement. And now we half pass to the right. And here is where I finally get him like off of my aids, and he does a flying change that was clean. I was very pleased with him. Those have been hard for him. And now extended canter. Again, he, as well as Sharpie, could use his full range. He's still kind of figuring out all the parts that he has and the strength and the muscles. Now into the stretchy circle. Put his head down. Could be a little bit more down and out. And now working towards our last change, which should be over the center line. Very nice. I was very pleased because he was getting better and better through this test. And now I'm going to work on down the center line. Get him straight. It was a little wide turn. But overall, again, super pleased with how he performed. And now, last but not least, this is Munson. Munson had been competing at the prelim level and had just moved up to intermediate before COVID shut everything down. So again, he is a level below Johnny since he's advanced. We come in, our halt is a little abrupt. He kind of tripped out behind it and spooked at the same time. Because Munson's a little spooky. Comes through the corner for a medium trot. You can sometimes not have the most comfortable trot. While Riot feels like a cloud, Munson can sometimes feel like a jackhammer. But he performs the test, and that actually felt a lot better and engaged. So in our half pass, he's doing a decent job of being around my leg. And what has become really fun with Munson is that our relationship has gotten really good, and he's really starting to let me ride accurate, which is really good for me to practice and to be. And now across the diagonal again for the extended. And he wants to get a little down. I need him to kind of squat and push up through his shoulders. And now preparing for my half pass right. He almost thought canter, but I had to do a little half halt to say, nope, we're doing half pass, and got a little stuck. So that was a little straight through the ribs there. Into the 8-meter. And now watch his little hind feet to go on the center line. Finally get it. Again, that's all rider issues right there. I was just a little slow in how I prepared coming off of the circle. Then I didn't quite have the proper angle to put in a good shoulder in. So now our extended walk. Getting him to try to overstep. And into the medium walk. Again, Munson can be a little spooky, so sometimes it can be, while he's good and I can be accurate, sometimes when he gets a little distracted, he can just tighten up on me some. Now, preparing for the halt, rein back. I want to push him up into this halt. We're not quite scared. I give him a little bump. He tried for me. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And canter. It was okay. That'll get crisper. And now into the medium. And back. I actually finally showed the transition there. And with Munson as well, his head wag has gotten a lot better. And now we do our change. That was pretty darn nice and accurate over the center line. He's gotten so much stronger now. Into our half pass. He wants to get a little sticky. And straighten. And flying change. He just tripped out behind there, but put in a pretty clean change. And half pass, a little slow to the start, but again, I could have prepared him a little better in the corner. Get him straight, flying change, really nice and straight. One of the best changes I've had on all of the horses today. And now extended. He's such a fun little pocket rocket too. He's a little bit on the smaller side and you feel like you can just put him anywhere. So now into our stretchy canter. I want him a little down and further out. That is the message of the day with all of my horses. And now preparing for our last change over that center line. Boom. Very nice and straight. He did really good job. He didn't sway either way and we were able to be really accurate. Now down the center line. And the halt's probably one of his weaker things. He tried really hard. Working on getting him square. And then I salute. Super proud of all my horses. Really had fun.
So thanks guys for watching. I was actually really pleased with how all my horses did today. They did really good work and I have a lot of stuff to improve on too, but it was a really great exercise. And again, thanks for following along in my horses' journeys. Make sure you guys, if you like this video, I know it was a bit of a long one, but subscribe, make sure to click the little bell, and thanks for watching.